Hey guys, it's Brio. I'm making this video to talk about it being 3.5 years since I did the Jordan B Petersons future authoring program, and essentially how I've progressed since then. I had 5 goals I had written down that I really wanted to achieve and work on, sort of stars to move towards. The first one was I wanted to do filmmaking. I just started that out as sort of a goal, because before that I had done breakdancing, but I quit that because I wasn't talented and I wanted to do something I was talented at. And I'm still not sure if I'm talented at filming. I enjoy it, but it's hard to tell. But I think I more so want to do something creative, and I'd always wanted to make films. I think that was a bigger part of it. Like, a lot of movies I'd watched were very inspirational to me and very emotionally affecting. So I think, yeah, I haven't thought of anything else that's more meaningful to me than working towards making films and movies and stuff like that. And that's something I've stayed on the course with since 3.5 years ago when I made the thing. I mean, I don't have a lot to show for it. Originally, I wanted to do YouTube videos, so start off with making YouTube vlogs and then somehow work up from there to make movies somehow. But what I quickly learned is YouTube vlogs weren't what I wanted to do. And so I started reading a lot of books, which I have here. Story by Robert McKee, John Truby's, 22 Steps to Becoming a Master Storyteller. I read a lot of those books. None of them really clicked with me, because I found the thing I cared about most with filmmaking was the story aspect of it. I wasn't satisfied just going out and recording things and making them look pretty, or getting the lighting nice and stuff, or the sound. I didn't learn writing or reading, but I learned a story. And the biggest one I learned, book that I learned with that, was The Hero of 1,000 Faces. This took me a long time to get through. I'd say about 4 or 5 months. I don't know. Essentially what I did was, for each paragraph, I sort of re-explained it in my own words to make sure I understood it, because I tried reading it through a few times and you just don't understand any of it, and you get lost really easily. So it was a tough book to get through, but I stuck it out. And yeah, that was really interesting because it got me into comparative mythology and religion, which I found super interesting, and how the oldest stories that is still survived have tell us so much about how our psyche works. And so that got me into, because this book was heavily inspired by Jung. I think Joseph Campbell was heavily inspired by Jung, and so I started getting into Jung and Jordan Peterson, because Jordan Peterson's super into Jung, and I read his book Maps of Meaning, and that was an insane book. It took me a similar time to read that as it did this. I don't have the book because I read it on the computer, but that was an amazing book, and I got really into that. And that was and that took me another few months to read. And I haven't finished it yet, Origins and History of Consciousness, but that all took me about a year all up to make that. But what I found was, I was reading a lot, and this is probably 2019. Midway through 2019 I started reading these, and so stopped about midway through 2020. And before that, so there's a gap, 1 year gap between 2018 and 2019, and that was mostly my plan was, okay, I didn't want to do vlogging, so I was I need to get onto a film set and learn my way up from there. And so I sort of spent a few months practicing social skills, because it was something I was really bad at. And that ties into the second point of my 5 points of things I wrote down to get better at, which was social skills. So I was I'll get better at social skills, then I'll somehow work my way onto a film set, and then I'll work my way up on a film set to become a director someday. I did do a help with a short film, and then I found I didn't want to take that path of working my way up, and I'm pretty sure it doesn't work that well either. If you want to be a director, you should direct, not become I don't know, a grip or an electric or a cinematographer, because then you're learning to become a grip and electric and a cinematographer. Maybe it will work, but yeah, it just wasn't the path I wanted to take, so I went to screenwriting instead. But yeah, so I spent probably a year between 2018 2019 learning social skills, and then after that, and while doing that, I was doing a lot of reading, came across this and got really into the comparative mythology, religion, and psychology study. So did that till midway through 2020. And then I was like, okay, I don't want to just keep reading all these books. I actually want to make something out of it. And so I tried tons of things like I had before, because I'd always sort of like been trying to make different films and stuff. And like all of them failed. It was hard to figure out, because one, I tried making screenplays, and I really, I don't like writing. Like, that's why, same point again, that's why I wanted to make films, is because I didn't like writing and I like the art of it. And then eventually I had this idea for this music video of this like song I heard on Spotify, and I tried writing it out and it didn't work. And so I'm doing this again for another music video. I'm not a drawer, but I drew all the like sort of scenes on just these little pieces of paper. I got a few of them here. And I actually I completed the story. I was like, okay, here's how it's going to start. Here's like the middle conflict, and here's how it ends. And I was like, oh my gosh, like finally actually finished my first story. And so I was like, what do I do with this? And so I was thinking, okay, like I want to send this story to the dude who made the song, and like, hey, make this music video. But I literally I draw stick figures like, so that wouldn't work, because it's a bit hard to communicate the story, and you want to put your best foot forward, and just like showing him a bunch of stick figures, you're probably like, okay, this dude spent 10 minutes like working on this, and even though I spent a long time. So I was like, okay, I'll hire someone to like redraw all the stick figures. That didn't work out for a variety of reasons. A lot of my stupid decision. Also, it was very expensive, and I didn't want to spend the money. Then I was like, okay, maybe I'll make it into a screenplay. So I went to a screenwriters a meetup where you just share your screenplay and people give you advice. And they told me, and it was like quite clear. Like I was like sitting there, I was listening to other people's screenplays. Like, dude, my story is like, the way we tell stories is like very different. Like, yeah. So, but they told me, and then I told my story, and they were like all confused. And then this one guy's like, oh, like this is a music video. Like I've made a music video before. Like I'd recommend don't turn this into a screenplay. Make a music video treatment. And I was like, what's a treatment? And I searched it up, and it's used like InDesign. It's just like panels of like pictures and text like describing how the music video would go. And so I was like, oh wow, that's like way better like way of doing this than what I was trying. But what happened then, I was like, I'd just been working on that story for so long, I was just so sick of it, and so I was like, stuff it, and I quit. And I was like, but I still want to try out this music video thing. So I had a few like Facebook friends who had made music, and so I sort of went through their music, and I found like a song that I thought would work, and I sort of dreamt up a music video for it and made a treatment for it. And I was like, okay, what I can do is I can just work my way up. I'll like make these treatments, and I'll give them to my friends, and then my friends might want to make them, then we make them, and then I'm like, people are like, oh wow, this guy can make music videos, let's hire him for this slightly bigger project, and then work my way from there. What happened with that was, I made the treatment, and I sort of finished that, and I was like, I was going to send it to the guy, and I was like, I'm not passionate about this at all. I don't care about this music video, and I don't want to put in the work to like actually make it after this. And so I stopped with that. Then I was at like sort of a loss, and I was like, it'd been like a month, and I was like, I tried a lot of different ways of making stories. I tried let's just throw out a simple premise. Okay, there's a dragon attacking this village, and there's this boy that wants to kill it, and like just a very simple premise, and just like write the story from start to finish without taking a break. And so I did that, and I like tried all these different ways of making stories, but I didn't have that like fire or enjoyment or deep meaning or satisfaction I got when I made that first story, which is the first music video. And because I'd sort of done the same thing before that of making music videos. And it felt like I tried 99 things and only one had worked, and I didn't know how to progress with that one that did work. And so I was like, okay, stuff this. Maybe I should just give this all up. And, I'm really into psychology, because I've been saying that, and I'd like listen to all of Jordan Peterson's lectures from 2014 to 2017. He's maps of meaning and personality ones like 10 times each, and he's got the 1996 one. And I really enjoyed his stuff, so I was like, okay, I'll study psychology and maybe get a job in doing psychology and have a good life that way. And then I just got really, I don't think depressed is the right word, but like just real, like I'd lost that star I was working towards, and I'd signed up for uni, and I was like, man, like I want to do something big with my life, but I feel like I've thrown that all away. And I had one point where I just like lay down on the ground and I was like staring at the ground. And it was a weird, and because I was just like sad, and it was also combined with the lockdowns as well. We had just gone into like our 6th lockdown. Like the day before we had reached 0, like cases, and like and everyone was like celebrating, like, oh, finally this is gonna end. And then like someone had escaped from Sydney who had the coronavirus and like come back down into Melbourne, and then lockdown 6 happened, which we're still in, which and I was just like so dead. But then I was like looking at the ground and I was like thinking, okay, what if it was like a weird idea, but I was like, what if I dedicated like the rest of my life to like working with this carpet to make like artistic sculptures and stuff. And that gave me like this video idea. And I was thinking of making like a video, like there's Van Neistat on YouTube. He has this like really unique way of like making videos, and he didn't have all these, he doesn't have, it's just him making the video. Like he doesn't have 50 people working for him like you do on a movie. And so I was like, oh, maybe I could make some movie out of that. And then I tried that and I was like, dude, I like making the story aspect of this, but I do not like the filming and the sound and all that different aspects of it. And so I stopped doing that, but that gave me like, that reignited that like drive and like deep satisfaction in me again. And that was just like a few weeks ago. And now I've like gone back to the original music video that I made that had that deep satisfaction. And I've realized that, and maybe it'll change in the future, but I need to outsource all the things I don't like. I need to just find what I love to do and work on when it comes to filmmaking, which is the story aspect, and then just outsource all the other stuff. Because there was like, I was also trying to learn to draw, so I could like draw something that was like draw these images much better, so I could make it presentable for the person I was sending the music video to. But yeah, that's like another, few hundred hours like learning a new skill, whereas I just want to focus all my energy on the story making skill. So so now what I've done is I hired my first person. Not really, I just went on Fiverr and hired someone to like draw an image which I can use for my music video treatment, and might hire a few people to make different images so I can make like a really solid music video treatment. And I know how to do that because I already made one. Yeah, and so I'm just working on that and gonna send it off. And then while I'm waiting on that, I'm working on this other music video that gave me, which is like really fun, which is this one, which I'm really enjoying doing that. And yes, so I sort of found this like, this is a long way of saying that this like journey, like back when I had this just ambiguous idea of 3.5 years ago, writing in the future authoring program, what I wanted to do and how that like sort of evolved over time. So I'll try. I've already spent like way too long on this video, but it doesn't matter. There was four other points. I promise they won't be as long. One was good social skills. So from 2018, midway through 2018, so like a few months after I made the video, to like midway through 2019, I worked on my social skills. Basically going out and approaching people and talking to them. That's a long story of like the journey of what that was like. It was a ton of fun, ton of drama, not a lot of drama, but like it took me into like this completely different environment that I'd never been in before, and exposed me to a lot of things. And like I think it was generally like just a huge adventure and like really fun. and I learned a lot about socializing and anxiety and getting out of your head and stuff like that. But what I found was, I'd stopped that for a while, did like a year of it or like 10 months of it. Then I started a new job, and what I found was like everything sort of like went out the window, and like I came that introverted, like quiet guy all over again, who just kept to himself. And what I sort of discovered is I've sort of got like inside, like if you think of the movie Inside Out, how they've got all these like little like mini humans that like control like this girl's activity. It's sort of like I've got this, I call them like beta and alpha. It's like dumb, but like there's the beta, like shy, scared to talk to people, just wants to be left alone, can't think of what to say type guy that's like usually always in control when it comes to social situations. And then through social, like learning social skills and stuff like that, and going out and approaching people, which was terrifying, strangers, I learnt to get like push him out of the way and get alpha, that confident, think of what to say, is like funny easily. I learned to get him into the controls for a while and like have him like cruise by. But my default is just that dumb word beta, who's like always in control. And if I don't have a conscious effort of putting alpha in control, like that's what happens. And it's like harder to push him off, like the more I let him stay in control. And so I've been wanting to like work on my social skills a lot more and like sort of improve and try and like make it sort of something like I always have within me, like always have like alpha in control. But that's a long journey and has not been helped due to the lockdowns, because we've had a lot of lockdowns, not much time to practice social skills. But I think I'm pretty excited about some things I've learned. There was a period because I'm from Melbourne, Australia, where we had 0 cases for like, I don't know how long, it was like 3 or 4 months. And during that time I did some social, and man, it was good. I'd sort of learned this like technique of you just approach, overwhelm the thinking mind, and then man, you're just in a social flow, and it's amazing. And I learned that mostly from RSD Tyler, or Owen Cook, whatever you call him. He's been really helpful for me. So that was number 2, good social skills. I mean, that's something I'm still working on. Same with filmmaking, but it's just become more defined over the last 3.5 years. Becoming more conscientious was the third one, which is like, I think the dictionary definition is like doing something thoroughly and well. And it's the second biggest predictor of success after IQ, but you can't change your IQ. You can lower it, but you can't increase it. So all you can do is maintain it, and I guess I'm maintaining it, so there's nothing I can really change about that. But the second one is conscientiousness, which is the biggest one for success. I think what I've been doing with that is, I create goals every day. I have a daily goals list, and then I have like a larger goals list of like things I want to do in the long term. I've done that pretty much every day since like 3.5 years ago. Cleaning my room, adding like small things to like make me more efficient. So for instance, I bought a dressing gown because it would make it so I get out of bed a little quicker. And I've got like a heater in my room, so when it's like cold and I don't want to like walk around my room, I don't want to do like my morning stretches, I can identify those like little tiny things that like hold me up a little and make me not do stuff. I think those like micro changes, I've made like hundreds of those, and it's like made me much more efficient. I found it's like conscientious, like a muscle, and it starts off where you just like figure out like very broad things, like cleaning your room and like trying to like organize very broad things. And then once those get done, you start to see smaller and smaller resolutions of like how to fix things, and they like appear to you, like your RAS like sees them more. So yeah, I think it's just been like a muscle that's just gone stronger over the years, and the more I sort of learn how I work, it's because I think originally it was like more I would be like understanding how my emotions work. So at instances, this is like, okay, I want to eat fast food, like I'm really craving fast food, but I have this like healthy, but I know I should logically eat healthy, and there's sort of a war that comes on. I think back like 3.5 years ago, I'll just be like, okay, I just need a will power, so the eating healthy comes, and I'll just use will for like all those sort of decisions. And then, but that wouldn't work sometimes, and you'd get the fast food. But I think a big change is like learning, okay, how the emotional one works and how to like influence before you get to the craving fast food stage. How to influence you don't get to that point. You like see the steps that happen before in like how your like day went or something. Like you've had a long day, you don't have food at home, so like you can't be stuffed cooking anything, and so you sort of like see the steps beforehand, like, okay, I need to like designate a day to like cook stuff, and I can't just make like super healthy food. Like I need to add some spices, some like oils and salts to it, so it's like appealing enough to eat. And even though that's not perfect, it's like way healthier than the alternative I would eat if I just, because I wouldn't want to eat the like super healthy version. Yeah, it's a lot of those sort of like negotiating between your emotional self and your logical self, and like not just trying to punch the emotional self out with willpower, which is next point was being financially stable. What I meant by this is working full time, doing something I love. So just like, I guess for this it would be like, okay, making music videos full time, or having like a YouTube which I'm doing full time. This hasn't happened, obviously. Not obviously. I do DoorDash to make money, which is actually, people say it's a bad job. I love the job because I work any hours I work. I can work any hours I want, and I don't spend a lot of money, so I don't need a ton, and so I can just like sort of have freedom over my life. I think main reason for that is wanting to become a filmmaker, and like unless you're doing like, okay, I tried for a bit like doing advertisements and different stuff like that, and really did enjoy it. Which there's like nothing bad about that. You need to make money somehow, but like, yeah, I think not putting pressure on myself to make money out of my art is like probably like a big thing, because if I do that, then I just lose all the love for the art and stuff. And last one was making positive impact on the world. I feel like it's a really long to explain, but I feel like I've sort of found how I can do like a satisfying way I can do that through filmmaking and like the films I'm making. I'm probably going to explain in another video, but I'm pretty satisfied with that. But yeah, I think that's all for this video. Thanks for watching. I'm going to try make more of these. I've originally planned out to do these every week on Thursday, but I sort of made this video every day. It's Saturday now, and it might come out Sunday, Monday. But the previous 2 videos, I was just too awkward on camera. I'm trying to get used to this again, and so I just made a video each day, and this one seemed to have worked out, so gonna try it out. So if you enjoyed this, please like and subscribe, and I'm gonna make more like self-help type videos in the future. Peace.